Yeah, one of the things that really struck me from what you just said is the fact that it's not the transformation. Digital transformation isn't that you start one way and you transform and you're done like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It's more that you're continuing to evolve constantly, and that you can't just transform and then declare, "Well, we're done. We've transformed. What's the next project we need to go work on?"
Yes, I think the it's a journey, and it's like a road which you are continuously going on. There will be different milestones. You will achieve something. At the end of the day, the race is against time. Customers and our fight is against the time, which is not the time in terms of the elapsed time, but also brought from the fact that customers are spending their time, and time is the most precious commodity. Now, our members' time, how can we do things which can save members' time? And that drives the digital transformation and innovation in a given context, and different use cases where members, if we are able to find our relevance where we can save members time, members will remember us and they will come back to us again and again.
One of the things I've always loved Jeff Bezos talked about, focus on the things that aren't going to change in times of great turmoil rather than the things that are. And by kind of keeping your eye fixed on like the lighthouse, the things that are unchanging, and the customer needs aren't changing. They need ways to save time, to use their time more wisely, and if you can help them fulfill that, you'll be successful. Is that when you're? I think that's one of the messages I just took away from what you said, and I really agree with it.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. The if you focus on where your customers are spending time, and if you focus on how your customers are spending time and how we can save their time, I think that will go a long way to build that emotional connect with the consumer.
Building on a kind of idea of emotional connect, you've got these really different communities. And one of the things we've seen is that pandemic has really caused a lot of people that are older to really adopt digital in a much more aggressive way. And yet the different communities do have different emotional needs. So how do you think through, how do you appeal to these different market segments, whether you do it by age, Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z, or people that have preferences for game playing versus learning? But there are these really different communities, and how do you customize and target those unique needs? It's a tricky problem.
So I think in a dynamic and changing business environment, I think what we need to understand is every generation comes with its own set of individual characteristics and unique behavioral traits. And each community has its own way of dealing, whether we call it Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, Baby Boomers, whatever name we give them. But within this, there are multiple cohorts which exist, and therefore this presents a new challenge and as well as an interesting opportunity for marketers to connect more effectively with them. It is for us to understand what works and what doesn't work, and therefore for modern day marketers, we have to realize that to stand out from the clutter and the individualization is something that will need to be embraced, which essentially means that a segment of one. Now, segment of one is a nice theory, but we are still in the first bucket of trying to understand the customer. There are different ways in which you can look at it when you transcend this journey. Today, the basic field or the segment rule is based on personalization. And it's a norm. Everybody wants to personalize it, but to
Yeah.
personalize, you need to understand the customer to be able to see what is relevant and what is not relevant. I think it is time that the organization look at the behavioral-led insight and to the use of machine learning and data science, start predicting the intent to elevate the overall consumer experience in a near real-time manner. Now, this requires building models to be able to understand why the customer is coming to your site or to your app for the first time or for the next time, and to be able to build strategies for different cohorts, and therefore ultimately deliver the experience. The game is to find ways in which you can save his time the next time he comes and interacts with you. And at InterMiles, we have realized that one size fits all approach does not work. Uh, we cater to a vast variety of members. And keeping this in mind, we invest time and effort to understand the triggers, the behavior of each segment, study the consumption demand patterns. Basis of findings for each segment, there is a value, which is perceived value, of fulfilling the experience. So we tailor our communication, we tailor our CVP for each of these target groups. Now within that, we also give choice. To give you an example, our tier program has multiple benefits, and we're going to be announcing a revision of the tier program post the pandemic in a couple of weeks from now. The thinking which has gone is that while travel is not going to be a significant portion, uh, members actually love to do something else. While travel was the main community on which everybody looked at it, but beyond travel, what are they going to do? So in the digital consumption, how do we give them choice of what they want to do? So creating offers and creating propositions which will give ultimately choice back and give everybody a choice, so that there are certain cohorts within platinum, there will be who will be behaving in a particular way while others will behave in a different way, and there will be a small subset which will be completely different. Now what can we do for that particular subset is something we need to sense and understand the trigger, and it will continuously keep evolving. So I think from a customization perspective or from a personalization perspective, there are different ways in which one can achieve the same thing.
So I think that what I'm hearing is that the use of data, really say that I'm going to make sure I've got offers for all the segments, and then let the data be the answer, and
That's right.
personalization,
That's
which
right.
sounds easy, but it's awfully hard.
So there are different theories, and I often have discussed this with our data science team about the slot machine theory. Uh, uh, if you go to Vegas and you look at the slot machine, you have a particular machine which sometimes people want to go there because your luck would be better there. But imagine there are 10 offers being driven out to members, and the uptake on the offer is entirely dependent on what the customers and the members are going to do. Now, number seven offer is the one which is seeing the best return and is working. Uh, you don't know why it is working. There are 20 people who have taken the offer, 100 people have seen it. So 20% take up rate is there. But those 20 people, what they were thinking, what their consideration set were, if you know a little more about it, then we can create a cohort whereby number seven offer is offered only to those people who have the similar behavioral set. So understanding this at the scale to create on an online computation would mean you need significant investment in the data science platform to understand that, and that's where I think is the world is headed, where you for every transaction, for every and the data set from the past as well as from current transaction should give you insight as to what is relevant and to be able to offer that to the member.
I think that's right on, and the it's very it's like I said, it's an easy thing to say, but a hard one to do, and you guys are
Oh
doing it.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's quite hard. It has taken us quite a while to build certain capabilities, and we're not saying we are done with. There are still a lot more which needs to be done. If you look at when we started off 5 years back, the data was lying in multiple systems. To stitch the data from the same member, and you as a member, every we have to build the capability to stitch the data from various systems to get 1,000+ different data attributes about you. So to get that view, to use that in analysis and segmentation was the first piece of the puzzle. And we have not even looked at the CRM aspect of it in terms of what the way you're looking at it and your behavioral aspect to our different communication, etc. Now, stitching all this information together and was the first piece of challenge. We stitched it, but then we realized that we needed compute power, and therefore we upgraded the capabilities to bring that. Then we realized, okay, when we need to run model, we need edge computing. We need capabilities which can take decisions faster. Then we built another version. So we are in the fourth version of our capability development, and I don't think we have seen some more challenges. We need to constantly evolve to go and solve those problems and take it forward.
And kind of in a concluding thought, what do you see as the big game-changing issues, and what would be your advice to other companies, looking to provide these kind of personalized experiences and trying to deal with digital transformation with all the different segments? What would be your advice, kind of your parting thoughts, to all the other people wrestling with these same problems?
So I think let me begin by saying at InterMiles we believe the following: an integrated and omni-channel approach to establish an enhanced connection with our members. Having said that, we have built certain capabilities in data modeling, and which is currently being undertaken the use of advanced technology. We use some of the AI technologies and platform to be able to predict the customer behavior. I believe at the end of the day, marketing is all about optimizing itself. Because as I said, you either can save time or you can grab the attention of the customer. Now, to grab the attention of the customer, you have to compete with different propositions, uh, or you can offer something where customer starts to value. And in the time money equation, time will always have a higher value in customers' mind, and therefore focus on saving customers' time. In the ever expanding competitive landscape, every brand's challenge is how to seize and save, which we just spoke about. Can we predict the next steps? Customers would appreciate that personalization in the service offerings. If I know you, so they are willing to share the data, and I respect that data and give something better. So anybody who's going down this path, these are the broad contours on which one can build its own strategy. And of course, it will vary across different industries, but these are the some of the basic things one has to do.
Yeah, it's well, it sounds basic, but they're hard. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your insights. This has been really a really interesting discussion. I would say to everyone out there watching this, if you're passionate about digital transformation and you're interested in also coming on the show, please email us at dtv@infostretch.com. Manish, again, thank you very much for spending the time. You guys are a real leader in this field, and it's great to have you share your insights with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Avery, for having me.